if Jon Bennet had been born poor. Here in the heartland of the Ramsey murder mystery, people have been talking about what it all means since the beginning. The "it" in question, though, is the spectacle. And the aspect of the spectacle that people have been discussing most is the treatment of the Ramsey family and how that treatment would have been different if the Ramseys had been working class. The local op-ed pages have regularly featured editorials and letters to the editor expressing shock and dismay at the state of justice in America. Keep in mind, Boulder, Colorado is not Los Angeles. In Los Angeles, people have grown jaded by a corrupt police department and legal system. In LA, the police have had a reputation for abusing people and justice since at least the 1950s. But this is Boulder, where we have a reputation for liberalism and sensitivity. Yet, in this bastion of seemingly progressive values, the issues of owners and workers are the same as anywhere. Boulder is very much a city run by and for the rich. Workers and the poor are there just to keep the streets clean, to do the actual work, and, of course, to pay for the party. In case you have wisely chosen to not pay much attention to the Ramsey case, it involves the murder of 6-year-old Jon Bennet Ramsey, a family with lots of money as well as questionable values, and a complete lack of official suspects. From early on, it was clear to the people of Boulder that the Ramseys were treated differently, better, by the local police, the local media, and then the national media than regular people would have been in similar circumstances. Lately, this different, favorable treatment has been called classist. This is a new word used to describe inequality in the same way that racist describes a bias. The assumption in both cases is that all people are equal and deserve equal treatment by society and government. I have trouble with the word classist myself, because the people using it are implying that it is possible for working people to be treated equally in this society. Of course, all people should be treated equally, but we live in a class society, a society of rich and poor, of owners and workers. Such a society is, by its very design, unequal, immoral, and biased against those outside of the circles of power, those without money or capital. It is good that we talk about injustice wherever it is encountered, but the naive assumption that our society can be just in its present form disturbs me. When Boulderites write into their local paper to express disillusionment with the class-based bias in the media and police, I can only wonder what planet these people come from. Of course rich people are treated differently than the rest of us. Of course rich people are of interest to the corporate media when the suffering of ordinary people goes unnoticed. And of course the rich have a significantly better chance of committing the most heinous crimes and never being brought to justice. It happens every day. For anyone to be surprised by this state of affairs is, to me, shocking in and of itself. Where have these people been? The father in this murder mystery comes from the ruling class. This means that he has more money than the rest of us, and got that money through the exploitation of other human beings. Profit is, ultimately, the difference between what workers produce and what they are paid. The rest, being called profit, is kept by the rich people. So Mr. Ramsey is rich because the rest of us are poor. Our society is run by and for the owning class. So when the police interact with Mr. Ramsey, they are interacting with one of those in charge, not just an ordinary person. The ruling class has more rights than the rest of us by virtue of their position. We often don't think about things this way, but all recognized human rights are enjoyed by the rich, while very few are enjoyed by the rest of us. For example, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which has never been ratified by this country, recognizes a human right to housing, food, clothing, and education, as well as the more traditionally recognized rights of speech, association, and so on that are familiar to us from our painfully class-biased Constitution. The rich people who run the country all have homes. The Ramseys have 3. Rich people have food. Starving people are always poor. Rich people have clothes, usually much nicer than yours or mine, and rich people have access to education and health care because these things are rationed in our society by dollars. Those with the dollars have health care and can afford tuition. So the struggle of ordinary people to attain these things has never been an issue to the ruling class. Our society values competition, the freedom of commercial speech to deceive, and the rights of corporations to exploit, pollute, and lie. Why would anyone think that such a society is not going to treat rich people involved in a murder mystery and every other kind of crime significantly differently than the rest of us? Working people in this society are locked up at a rate twice that of the people in even the most corrupt and abusive countries in the world. Wait, I guess that makes ours the most corrupt and abusive society in the world. Oh, the joys of free market capitalism.